phenomena there are that originate from a cause. The Tathagata, the Buddha, explains the cause and also that which is their cessation. That is what the great ascetic teaches. Third time? Okay, so anyway, so this shows that even Sariputta depended upon the voice of another. And probably it was not just while he was listening, but his mind would have been working very quickly. And, because we all hear the same words. He heard it in probably the language of Magadhi. We hear it in English, but the meaning's the same. But he would have been, as soon as he heard the words, he would have used yoniso manasikara, reflected upon them quickly, but very, very clearly and extensively. And so right away there arose the path of stream entry. Okay, so we have these two conditions for the arising of right view. And so the way it normally works is that we hear what's called the voice of another. It can be the teaching from another. Nowadays, if we read in books, that's similar to getting the voice of another. And then when we listen, then in order to gain right view, one has to reflect wisely on what one has heard. Just listening is not enough. Just memorizing what one has heard is not enough, because right view is like a personal achievement. It's not just something that one can acquire by rote from others. But unless one is a bodhisattva in his last existence, on the verge of Buddhahood, or somebody on the verge of becoming a Pacceka Buddha, as important as wise attention is in order to achieve right view, this is the special right view of the Buddha's teaching, one has to hear the teaching from another. That's why it's said to be extremely important that the Dhamma continues to be proclaimed down the ages, through the ages. Okay, now we come to another question. By how many factors is right view assisted when, this is translated very literally, so it's a little awkward. First I'll read it and then I'll reformulate it. Okay, by how many factors is right view assisted when it has deliverance of mind for its fruit, deliverance of mind for its fruit and benefit, when it has deliverance by wisdom for its fruit, deliverance by wisdom for its fruit and benefit? Okay, what is meant here, the translation uses deliverance. This was Venerable Nyanamoli's choice, but now I would much prefer liberation. So there's two aspects of arhatship, often mentioned together in the text. Yeah, there are many kinds of liberation of mind. When we have liberation of mind mentioned, it doesn't necessarily mean full liberation or final liberation. Liberation of mind can represent just a temporary attainment, like a state of meditative absorption or samadhi. But to indicate that this is final liberation, the ultimate liberation, the two terms are joined, liberation of mind and liberation by wisdom. There are two ways of describing one. When they're joined together, the two terms are describing one state or one attainment, which is the attainment of arhatship. And the process of development begins with and it's guided by the arising of right view. This is the right view of the stream enterer. This is the right view that comes at the beginning of the really noble or world-transcending Noble Eightfold Path. And so this is the right view that is really effectively equivalent to wisdom. And now he's asking, what are the factors, the other kinds of practices that are needed to assist right view, to help it grow and mature in order to culminate in the liberation of mind, liberation by wisdom. Okay, then Sariputta answers, that right view is assisted by 5 factors. Let's say, let me rephrase this. In order for right view to culminate in liberation of mind, liberation by wisdom, it should be assisted by 5 factors, or there are 5 things that contribute to the maturation of right view. So the right view will blossom in this liberation of mind, liberation by wisdom. So what are these 5 factors? So he mentions virtue or good conduct, wholesome conduct. Then learning or hearing, this is hearing the Dhamma, because even though, say, a stream enterer has the right view, so technically he doesn't really have to listen to the Dhamma anymore because he has the essential, insight into the truth of the teaching. But in order to expedite the development of wisdom, listening to the Dhamma can contribute to that speeding up the process of maturation. Okay, then discussion, which means discussion of the Dhamma, because there can still be points which are a little obscure or unclear. And so discussion can help to facilitate the development of right view. And then the 2 essential factors are serenity and insight. So serenity is concentration, the calming down of the mind, the unification of the mind. And so the unification of the mind is what facilitates the development of insight. And then there is insight, which would be the practice of insight meditation. So these two kinds of meditation, serenity meditation and insight meditation, both contribute in their different ways to the maturation of right view, so that it will culminate in that liberation of mind, liberation by wisdom. Okay, maybe at this point I should ask whether there's any questions. Yeah.
The monk who, the Arahant who spoke to Sariputta, I still didn't understand that, to be honest. He got enlightened in just with those 4 stanzas. The 4,
Sariputta did, yeah.
Is it similar in meaning to what is similar in meaning to anicca vata sankhara upadavaya dhammino? Is it the same thing? Anicca vata sankhara upadavaya dhammino upadita niruddhantu.
It's somewhat similar.
Similar, right? Okay.
It's similar.
That I understand.
Yeah.
But this thing that Asaji said...
It's actually that maybe the difference is that anicca vata sankhara upadavaya dhammino, that verse pretty much just highlights impermanence, but it doesn't go into the aspect of causation, causality. Whereas the verse that Sariputta heard from Asaji, it says, whatever things there are that originate from a cause, the Tathagata has explained the cause and also their cessation. So it's dealing with what is the cause for things to arise, what is the cause for things to cease.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so it seems to be pointing not simply to impermanence, but also to dependent origination.
Thank you, Bhante.
Bhante, when they refer to the voice of another, is that specifically the voice of an arahant? Or
It doesn't. The text itself doesn't specify any further. I would say probably it doesn't have to be that. I'm just trying to think whether if there could be somebody who's been meditating a long time and then a parrot comes by who had heard a monk reciting the suttas, and then parrot goes, sabbe sankhara anicca, sabbe sankhara anicca. And then the person, the ascetic who's been meditating, hears the parrot saying, everything is impermanent, everything's impermanent. And then he gains enlightenment. Possible, I don't know. Any questions? Then shall we go on? Okay, so now we come to the next section. Again, it seems as though there's a shift in the topic. So now Mahakotita asks, how many kinds of being are there? Again, I don't like the use of being for bhava. I prefer existence, since existence can suggest something more concrete. Okay, so that there are these 3 kinds of being, or 3 kinds of existence. What are the 3? Sense sphere existence, fine material existence and immaterial existence. Other renderings that might be used would be desire realm existence, form realm existence, formless realm existence. They're both represent, they're just two different translations of the same terms. Okay, so sense sphere existence, this is existence, we have the basic Buddhist cosmology of the three realms. So we have the sensuous realm, sense realm, sensory realm, includes the human realm, and then the realms below the human realm, the hell realms, the animal realm, and the realm of the pretas, the afflicted spirits, sometimes called the hungry ghosts. And then above the human realm, we have, still within the sense sphere, we have the six desire realm or sense realm heavens. So those are the heavens of sensual delight. And then we have the fine material or form realm. This is the realm of, let's say it's a very refined realm of existence in which matter is still present, but only the subtle forms of matter remain there. The coarser kinds of matter have vanished. So these are the realms that are inhabited by the beings. They're called Brahmas, or we call them divine beings. And then above the form realm, or the fine material realm, is the formless realm, or immaterial realm. And this is the realm in which matter is completely absent, in which there's only the beings who exist there consist entirely or solely of mind, no physical bodies. And we have four basic levels within the formless realm. That is the sphere of infinite space, the sphere of infinite consciousness, the sphere of nothingness, the sphere of neither perception nor non-perception. And so if we wanted to visualize this, okay, so we have the sensory realm, the sense sphere realm, in which we can just divide it broadly into the bad destinations, which is the hells, the animal realm, the realm of the pretas, the good destinations, which is the human realm, and the sense sphere heavens. Then the form realm, or fine material realm, consists of something like 16 levels of heavenly, they're called heavenly worlds. Then above the form realm is the formless realm, which consists of the four formless spheres of existence. And existence into each of these realms comes about through its own appropriate karma. So the karma that leads to the bad destinations would be unwholesome karma. To the good destination, it would be limited type of wholesome karma. To the form realm, it would be the jhanas. And to the formless realm, it would be the formless meditative attainments. So we could say that for Buddhism, all of the different realms of sentient existence are reflections or responses to the karma that living beings create. Repeat that? Okay, we can say for Buddhism, all of the different realms that sentient beings inhabit are reflections of the karma that they create, or they're sort of responses to the karma that they create. So the reason why we live in the human realm and perceive the world as the human realm is because we have created karma that has brought us into the human realm. And we share this realm with the animals, so the animals see the same thing that we do. Though, of course, they perceive it differently. Like if I don't have a cat, but if I had a cat and I left this book around, it wouldn't, I wouldn't expect to see come home one day and to see the cat poring over the book. But rather, if it was a kitten, it would be tearing up the book, the scratching. And then if we were to do like really wholesome, very strong wholesome karma, then when we pass away, then the world that would manifest to us might be one of the heavenly worlds. And if we were to achieve and master one of the jhanas, then the world that will manifest will be one of these heavens from the form realm. So the realm manifests in response to the consciousness, the basic level of the consciousness. Okay, now, so those are the three realms of existence. And then Mahakotita asks, how is renewal of being in the future generated? In other words, what is it that produces new existence into any of these three realms of existence? Okay, and then Sariputta answers, he says, renewal of being in the future, or future renewed existence, is produced through the delighting in this and that on the part of beings who are hindered by ignorance and fettered by craving. Okay, so what this statement is saying, sort of when we break it down, is that what underlies this entire process of karma producing new existence into any of the three realms is ignorance, and craving. So ignorance means not understanding things as they really are, not seeing the true nature of things. And when one doesn't see things as they truly are, then one gives rise to craving. Craving for enjoyment, craving for any of the objects of craving, whether sensual pleasures, power, privilege, fame. And then through that craving, one goes on delighting in one thing or another, or seeking delight in one thing or another. And that craving will continue based on this physical body as long as one lives. But when one dies, as long as there's ignorance there, one hasn't understood the nature of things, and this craving is still present when one dies. But the physical body can't support that craving anymore. But there's still the craving for more enjoyment, to delight in this and that. So what happens? It's not the case that when the body dies, everything comes to an end, just nothingness after death. But there's still that desire to go on enjoying this and that. And that desire, that craving, will bring about the creation of a new existence. So it brings into being, let's say the craving drives the stream of consciousness into a new mode of existence. And the new mode of existence that the stream of consciousness acquires will be determined by the karmic dispositions that one has created through one's actions in this life. Okay, and so how does one gain liberation from this entire cycle of birth and death, this continuous, unbroken stream of becoming? That is what is asked by the next question. Okay, so how is renewal of existence in the future not generated? And then the answer is given with the fading away of ignorance, with the arising of true knowledge, with the cessation of craving, then there is no generation of new existence in the future. So in other words, the key sort of to stop the process of interminable, endless becoming is to generate or give rise to true knowledge, to profound understanding of the nature of things. And when this knowledge arises, then it abandons or eradicates the defilements, and it causes craving to fall away. And then with the falling away of craving, the cessation of craving, then there is no delighting in this and that. And when there's no delighting in this and that, then the process of becoming comes to an end. Yeah. I'm not saying that, all delight itself is to be rejected. Okay, any questions? Somebody in the back has a question. Oh, I thought that Sandy was going back.
Very simple one, Bhante. They refer to sentient beings. That would be once in the sense realm.
Once what?
Once in the beings in the sense realm.
Yeah.
Sentient beings.
No, sentient beings are in all three realms.
All three. Oh, I see. So all these will come.
Yeah. Sentient means conscious.
Oh, okay. So not only the ones in the senses.
Not only the ones in the sense sphere.
Thank you, Bhante.
Even the beings in the formless realm, so they don't have physical bodies, they just have, consciousness or mind, but they are considered sentient beings.
I have a small question on the Upali.
Who's asking? Oh, you are. Okay.
So this is a question that many people ask me, so I would also like to know what you think about it. People ask me how significant or essential it is to believe in these realms of existence and rebirth in order to practice the path.
In order to
practice the path towards
practice the path.
Yeah. Is it something that we have to just believe, or how?
Yeah, that's a good question. What I say is that, Buddhism, it's not a system that requires dogmatic beliefs where you say, you have to believe this, you have to believe that. And one could undertake the practices if one finds the teaching to be beneficial to oneself, beneficial to others. One can undertake the practices and benefit from them. So if one wants just to keep one's practice of Buddhism at that level, that's all right. I wouldn't condemn anybody who takes that approach. But what I would say is that if one then takes the position that this is real Buddhism, that it's something entirely visible here and now and has nothing to do with other realms of existence, other lives, then I would say that one is developing a rather short-sighted perspective on the Dhamma, that there are many things that the Buddha himself would have known through direct knowledge, through direct insight, and that the great disciples knew through direct insight, and even great meditation masters today know through the direct insight, including the existence of other realms and the operation of the law of karma. And this is what provides what I would call the deeper and wider background to the practice of the teaching. So if one wants to practice just with the view in mind of the benefits that come from the present life, then I say just put the teachings one can't accept to the side and focus on what one can accept. But also, if one really wants to get the full comprehensive understanding of how the teaching works and what its original aim is and what its ultimate aim is, then one should take account of these other teachings. And I use, maybe some of my regular students are tired of this simile, but I use this example of, especially with the younger people who have the electronic equipment, they're sitting there checking their emails coming, maybe they're getting emails coming from Taiwan or from Malaysia, India, sitting in this room in New York State, saying, but I don't believe that ancient Indian mythology about karma and rebirth. But here they're checking on their mobile devices, emails coming from the other side of the world with no wires attached to their devices. The messages are just coming through the air into their little devices. Maybe they have a storage capacity of maybe millions of emails stored up in their little device. And yet they're skeptical about teachings of other realms of existence and the law of karma, which is so sensible. So you could just, if somebody expresses doubt, ask them if they're using a mobile device to get their emails. And if they say that if they're your friends in Bangladesh writing in Bengali, and you ask them where was their mobile device made, maybe China, how can a mobile device made in China understand emails written in Bengali?
a monk who mentioned about this hungry ghost and whatever, and they're saying this is not Buddhism. I said, no, this is part of Buddhism. The ultimate reality is ultimate reality when you think of it.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, going to Nibbana, that may not be as essential to attain Nibbana. But the Dhamma is supposed to be the ultimate reality. So if there are hungry ghosts or other people elsewhere, it's fine. You cannot change it just because other people don't agree with you.
Yeah.
You know, that's how I feel like this, you know.
Yeah.
Because some people, especially in the Western world, they only want to accept what science accepts, nothing else.
Yeah,
So,
well, I mean, one could understand that because one wants to understand what can be verified.
Yeah, but that may not be the ultimate reality in the universe. So.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There's somebody named Alan Wallace. Do you know of Alan Wallace? He's written, because he started out actually he was a monk in the Tibetan tradition, very knowledgeable. Then he disrobed many years ago, and then he went to university, and he did his undergraduate work in quantum physics. And now he's written a lot on the interface between science and Buddhism. And he is like a staunch advocate of all of like the traditional Buddhist cosmological doctrines. In fact, he goes farther than I can go. Like I've had some correspondence with him where I'm playing the skeptic and he's defending even the Mount Meru-based cosmology, which I'm arguing against. But some of his books might be help to deal with those kinds of questions. Wallace, W-A-L-L-A-C-E. Okay, I think if there's no questions right now, then we'll break. We'll take the lunch break now and then come back, say 12:15, to take any further questions. Okay, so we have the sheets for the sharing of the merits, so we're going to share the merits with the devas, the bhutas, or the fierce spirits, the nagas, the dragon spirits, and with all sentient beings. Akasata chabumata deva naga mahedika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakantu sasanang. Akasata chabumata deva naga mahedika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakantu desanang. Akasata chabumata Deva naga mahidika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakantu mang parang etavata cham hehi sampadang punya sampadang sabbe devanumodantu sabba sampati siddhya etavata cham hehi sampadang punya sampadang Sabbe bhutanumodantu sabba sampati siddhya etavata cham hehi sampadang punya sampadang sabbe satanumodantu sabba sampati siddhya pavagupadaya avichihetato etantare satakayupapanna Rupya rupicha sanya sanino dukkha pamuchantu pusantu nibuting. Okay, so we'll end with 3 half bows. Oh, I should, before we do, let's do the 3 half bows. Just wait just one moment until this finishes.